retrieval system. You can do that with the same SharePoint search technology as you would to search for any other document or email. Because of the way we've done SharePoint for collaboration, we're encouraging people and companies to essentially create the equivalent of a MySpace, but call it a My Site, for people to have inside the work environment. And on my SharePoint My Site, I can describe who I am. I can describe what expertises I have that are relevant to the company, and the ability then to dig in, to find people who have the right expertise to help me solve a business problem. It's a very important part of the innovations that come with this wave of products. If you take a look on the decision-making front, what we've done in Excel, with SQL Server, what we're doing with search is all about letting people get at that information, explore it, and analyze it. I spoke recently at our SQL Server Users Group meeting, and we showed this set of add-ins that we've built for Office 2007 that work with SQL. And the ability to dig in, find data, model it, visualize it is incredibly powerful in the product. We built in rich integration with XML and web services so that you can get at data that is not in the Office environment and pull it into the Office environment for your own personal use. It's a big theme we hear from people. We're comfortable with the Office productivity tools. How do we get the Office productivity tools to do more for us as it relates to business process and business information inside our own companies? So there's a tremendous amount of technology in here. Search, portal, business intelligence, visualization, and analytics, which do a lot to improve people's ability, if you will, to find information and get important insights in the business. To demonstrate how some of these concepts can come together in this technology platform, we thought we would have one of our customers come on stage and show you some of what they're doing. We've been working with the Scripps Research Institute, which is in the San Diego area. They do a lot of work in cancer research. They've been working with a Microsoft partner, Internology, on a solution for some of the things that they're trying to accomplish in terms of cancer research. The application that they're going to show you takes advantage of new graphics and display technologies in Windows, new collaboration and data mining capabilities that are in Office, and they're going to show you an application that I think they'll say was built by about 2 people, 2.5 people in about 6 weeks of time. So please welcome on stage with me Tim Huckabee. Tim is the CEO of Internology, and Peter Kuhn, PhD, from the Cell Biology Institute at Scripps. Thanks.
Hi, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
So Scripps Research Institute, as Steve was just mentioning, we're down in La Jolla. We are one of the largest non-for-profit biomedical research foundations in the United States. My lab at Scripps Research itself is focusing on identifying cancer cells in blood circulation of patients, and then we're trying to identify and characterize proteins on the surface of these cells and utilize that as an approach to develop effective diagnostics and therapeutics. The ultimate goal of this type of research is, of course, to make cancer a managed disease. So that's kind of the umbrella under which we are working. Obviously, this is a problem that's of sufficient complexity that I can't claim, and it's impossible to do this as a single lab or as an individual researcher. So our problem really is we need to collaborate with other people in the field across the hall, halfway around the world. But this complexity is, of course, increased by the fact that we're looking at protein molecules, which are really 3-dimensional molecules. And so we need to be able to actually attach data in 3 dimensions and share it with others. And this is roughly the problem setting that we approached Tim at Internology with. And what they came back to us with as a solution is what Tim will be showing off now. And the example that he will be showing is a real live example out of the lab that we're working on right now, where we're trying to block a protein that's sitting on the surface of a cancer cell.
Peter's group is using some amazing technologies to find cancer cells within blood and to develop some new drugs. They have many high-tech toys, believe me, that allow them to stare at molecules in 3D. But what they didn't have is a way to tie that 3D view to the research itself. What you're seeing here is a Windows Vista application that solves Peter's 3D and collaboration requirements. So let's pretend I'm a researcher. I've done some research in a Word 2007 document. Like you guys, I don't know where it is on my computer. I did it disconnected. So I'll use Windows Vista's desktop search to quickly find my research. And sure enough, there it is right there. Now I'm going to drag and drop this Word document right onto the 3D surface of the cancer molecule. What this does is pins that research to that very spot on the cancer molecule. This is what Peter's researchers didn't have and so desperately needed. Oh, and by the way, that research document, that Word 2007 document, is now persisted in SharePoint 2007.
And that's important for us because obviously when we work with other people, say a chemist in Austria, she might not have the application installed. She might only have a web browser on her machine. So with this approach of the solution, what that allows us to do, give her access to the system and just use a web browser to get to the actual data itself.
This is why using SharePoint 2007 is so crucial to the solution. This allows researchers to share information across geographic and organizational boundaries. It allows them to search shared research quickly and effectively.
So now, of course, if you go back to the actual application, if that collaborator of mine, if she actually has the application installed, she now has the research report that is attached to a particular part in 3 dimensions. She can go through that. She can understand what the context of that is in 3D. And she can now go back in and actually add her own notes to that, her own thoughts to that, because she might have another experiment that she wants to design around that. So what you see Tim doing now is, right mouse click, add note. And that simplicity of it is also very important because, again, what you're seeing here is really, it's live. I mean, this is how we work with the application. That's how simple it is. And that was important for us because we wanted to have a close to zero learning curve leading up to this. And we believe that that simplicity is quite revolutionary for the type of work that we actually want to do.
The greatest thing about this application, in my opinion, Steve mentioned, is how quickly we built it. This was built with 2 developers and a half-time program manager, project manager, in about 6 weeks. The initial prototype was done. In fact, that 3D Windows Presentation Foundation control you're staring at here was built by 1 developer in 2 weeks. That type of developer productivity was unheard of before these technologies existed. And by the way, we have big plans for this application, right? We're pretty excited about it. None the least of which is the integration of Windows Workflow to the great new features of Exchange 2007 to allow us to handle Peter and his group's most complex workflow needs.
So, and now with that pace of development, of course, the reason why we are excited about this is because we believe that we finally actually get our hands on tools that grow alongside of our research. And that is, of course, exactly what we are looking forward to in terms of using as an application in the future. I think everybody is probably agreeing with this today that curing any disease in the future will require the scientists working on this to be able to share their research data with others in the relevant context, find research results quickly, and be able to communicate back and forth in this context-rich sort of environment. And just to close this off, again, to finish off that umbrella statement that I made in the beginning, keep in mind that about 1 in 7 women in the United States will suffer from breast cancer during her lifetime. So we really don't care what it takes as long as we get our hands on technologies that allow us to move that discovery process faster forward so that we can make cancer finally a managed disease.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
The number of essentially technologies that the guy showed you there is really quite large. And for those of you who like to get more technical, I know we have some in the audience. They've used the new presentation capabilities, Windows Presentation Foundation. They use the annotation surface that it provides. They use new collaboration capabilities that come from Office and SharePoint. And all of that was instrumental to the kind of productivity that enabled that application to quickly come to the fold. What I'd like to do now is invite on stage Diane Prescott from our own team. Diane's going to give you a little bit of a feel of some of the things that we're bringing to market in Exchange and how that's enabled both through Microsoft Outlook and Windows Mobile. Diane.